Yep. All set. All set when you are. And welcome, everyone, to Magic Insiders. We are presented by International Diamond Center. Dante Marchitelli, Jake Chapman here with you. And it is good to be back. It is good to be live. Took me a second. See, I don't always catch the cues.
It's dark in here.
It's dark in here. But now I know. We're live and we're ready to go. Jake, it's been a while since we've done this live, but it's good to be back at it. And it's most of all, it's good to be communicating with you, Magic fans, especially after last night's win.
It was spectacular last night. What an atmosphere in the building. Jalen Suggs back on the floor. The Miami Heat. It came down to crunch time. It was about everything you could ask for an opening night. And like I kept saying last night on the broadcast, we won, but Miami lost. And that it feels like it counts.
Those are two.
Right?
Those are two great things.
Two fantastic
Two great things. The Magic get a win on opening night. When the Magic win, you win too with Papa John's Pizza. You're getting 50% off your regular menu price order today at papajohns.com. Use the promo code MAGICWIN. That's promo code MAGICWIN. They win 125 to 121, and you get 24 points apiece from Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero. You get 23 from Desmond Bane in his Orlando Magic debut. It's the second time in Magic history that they have had three players get 20 points on opening night. The other time happening in 2022, Paolo, Franz, and Jalen were the three that did that. So a little bit of history last night as well, but most importantly, the Magic get the win. And it just felt good. You're down 8 in that fourth quarter. And again, we appreciate you. We see the comments piling in, and we're going to get to you here in just a second. But you're down 8 in the fourth quarter. You finished the game on a 24-12 run. So we got offense, Jake, and we got defense when we needed it, especially in the last 6 minutes.
Had offense for three quarters. It was
we
the
did.
third quarter where the offense bogged down a little bit. You only put up 21 in the third, and you had a spat of turnovers, and that was really what led to that. The balance that you saw last night, obviously you go through the stat sheet, and you see it, 24 apiece, like you mentioned, Paolo and Franz. You got 16 off the bench from Tristan da Silva. He was fantastic. Right. You made 12 threes. It was kind of a whole bunch in the first half, and then you went a little bit frosty. But you scored 35 points in the fourth quarter, and as you mentioned, that 24-12 run, like the biggest plays of the game were hustle plays, offensive rebounds. Wendell Carter Jr. struggled all night and then showed up very, very big when it really, really mattered. And that's what it's about. I mean, in the NBA, you're going to have games like that almost every night that come down to the last 4 or 5 minutes. And last night at home, the Magic had that extra little push to put them over the top.
Jay Curve, we see you, man. Keep doing your thing with that Magic Minute. M. Rahim, Mr. Business Traveler, we appreciate you all tuning in. And I think there's a number of big stories, and we just ran through a few of them. But I don't know if there was anything bigger than Jalen Suggs making his return last night. And he told us in the morning, right? He said, listen, I'm going to be hyped, but I'm going to be a little more under control, a little more subdued. And I saw his parents. They said that's going to last about 2 minutes. It lasted 3 seconds. When the fans saw him during the introductions, he completely played to the crowd, started dancing, everything that we love about Jalen Suggs. He finishes last night in impressive fashion. He comes out, makes his first three, by the way. Able to finish, makes one of the biggest plays of the game with his steal, hits the shot of the game, right, where he pivoted 15 times like Terry Catledge and gets the shot to go, but didn't drag his feet. And Jalen Suggs, 14 points, 4 rebounds, a couple of steals in his debut.
He picked up 2 personal fouls in the first minute and 3 seconds of the game.
Yes,
if you're wondering exactly,
that's how you know he's back.
If you're wondering exactly where he was, and we talked all day about it. We talked on the pregame show. You know, is he able to just sort of like put a governor on his engine, right?
Yes.
And he's not. He's not capable.
He thought he was, but I
don't think we want him to either.
No.
I mean, you saw last night. He is absolutely the spirit animal of this group. He responds more so than anybody else to the crowd at Kia Center, and they respond more so to him than anybody else. And in crunch time, he was in the middle of absolutely everything.
Yes.
He ends up with 2 steals. How many possessions did he wreck last night? And he wasn't even on the floor for that long. What did he finish with? 16 minutes.
Yep.
It was a taste of what he means to this team. But, you know, I don't want to say we got used to life without Jalen last year, but we didn't have any choice when he went down in January. So you play the rest of the season and you adjust to that reality. Boy, we saw last night just how much he means to this team. And imagine what it looks like when he's on the floor for 30 minutes with Desmond, with Franz.
Oh my goodness,
and with Paulo.
right.
It's the young core was shining last night, and even having Jalen for just that little bit, you saw the difference it makes.
Well, and you got to get better defensively. There's no bones about
Yep.
it. That was a horrible defensive first quarter. You gave up 39 points to the Miami Heat, who I thought were going to shoot 75% for the entire
It's crazy.
game. I thought it was unbelievable the start that they got off to, but you reeled it in when you needed to. And credit to Coach Mosley. He told him with 4 minutes left, we've done this the last 3 days in practice. We have gone over our 2-minute drill, what we have to do defensively and offensively. We know everything that's coming, and we're prepared for it. And they were, and they outscored them 24-12 there down the stretch. Rome, you're right. How about Desmond Bane? Shout out to our starting two-guard. And that's where we were going next. The debut of Desmond Bane, I don't know that it could have gone any better. And he gets a little help here today because they took away a three-point attempt. So technically he was 3 of 6 from beyond the arc last night instead of 3 of 7. So even that's going his way.
Stacking wins even the next day.
32 minutes for Dez, 23 points, a huge bucket late, 7 of 18 from the floor, an incredible pass, a no-look pass to Paolo Banchero. He finishes with 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Desmond Bane, better than advertised. I got a text that I have to share. I probably shouldn't share, but I got a text from a buddy of mine saying, I don't think 4 picks was enough for for Desmond. I think it was a lot. It was a lot to get him, but an unbelievable debut for Desmond Bane.
He was awesome. He wasted no time, right? Like, he looked comfortable. There's not going to be any sort of an adjustment period, which you sort of expected with a guy like Desmond Bane. Mm-hmm. When you get a little bit higher profile and you get into making the big move and the guys come in and all of a sudden you're handing the keys over, that's when you have this big adjustment period. This team is in place, and Desmond Bane is a guy who sort of fills the cracks.
Right.
Obviously, the perimeter shooting was fantastic. He got his 3 threes, I think, in 3 different ways. He was shooting off the bounce. He was shooting sidestep threes. He was shooting catch-and-shoot threes. He can do everything offensively. He can play make, as we've talked about. You saw that, I think, a bit last night. I had 2 block shots last night. Defensively, we've said he's going to fit the identity, but we haven't seen it in practice. Preseason is preseason. Mm-hmm. You saw it last night as well.
He had an unbelievable block on Norman Powell.
Yeah.
He ended up getting the ball back and making a 3. That guy's incredible. I mean, you talk about an offensive talent. 26 last night for their prize free agent in Norman Powell. But I thought probably the biggest play of the game, Desmond Bane using that big frame to dive for the loose ball. And then he draws the foul from Bam Adebayo. And then the free throws down the stretch. I mean, you can't say enough about that. Everybody's stepping up, knocking down free throws. And in the next segment, we'll kind of get to the unsung heroes of the basketball game last night. But, I mean, if you're Desmond Bane, I don't know that could have gone any better for you with the performance that he had last night, because he showed all the things that you mentioned on the offensive end, but he showed that he can defend. You do not lose anything defensively having Desmond Bane out there on the floor.
No, absolutely not. And I think that was crucial. Like, we knew we needed to address the shooting, but you don't want to bring a guy in who all of a sudden is a liability, right?
Correct.
And you're creating more problems on the other end. This team, the defense will be better than it was last night. I think it's a juggling act, and Coach Mosley's been talking about it the whole preseason, and he was concerned about it yesterday morning. If you're going to push pace and try to hang 125, it's very, very easy to get sucked into that sort of style of play and for there to be a deficit on the defensive side of the ball. It's really, really difficult. You got to be Oklahoma to do both things really, really well. But we're getting there. I think you saw last night the ability, at the very least, when it matters, to lock down, and that's very important in this league.
Well, they're going to have to hang their hat on the defensive end still. You're going to be better offensively, but your defense is what gets you there. OKC wins the championship. They were the number 1 defensive team in the league last year. You're going to be better. Can you be in the top 15 offensively instead of 30th?
Right.
I think that's what you're chugging for, and still be a top 5 defense in the NBA.
And that was the Miami Heat you put 125 on last night.
That's right.
Right? They're not
right.
fully intact, but that's still going to be a very good defensive team, we think, when all is said and done.
No, I think you're right. And before we get to break here in a couple of minutes, but how about this from Rain? The first play of the game was a perfect way to start the season. Was that unbelievable, the design play that ends up in the dunk from Wendell Carter Jr.?
The after timeouts looked very, very sharp last night. It felt like last night, and we've known this about Jamal Mosley since he's been here, but it felt like a stalemate at the very least last night as far as coaching goes. And when you can do that against Eric Spoelstra, in my opinion, he's the high watermark. He's the dean of NBA coaches now with no Greg Popovich. In his 18th season in Miami, we know how good he is, and I felt like there was no advantage as far as coaching went whatsoever last night.
Well, that's a great point. And Gozilla, I see your comment on Tristan. That's going to be in the next segment. He's kind of one of those unsung heroes, because you're right. He played a huge part in that basketball game last night. But to me, and this kills me to do this, But you got to give Miami credit. I was blown away by the product that Eric Spoelstra had out there on the floor last night. No Tyler Hero. You don't have your all-star. They play hard. They play fast. They stayed right there with Orlando. And, man, they shot the heck out of the basketball last night.
Well, it's a veteran group.
You had to beat a Miami team that was playing at their best last night.
That it felt like it, for sure. And look, they made 12 threes. They're going to get Tyler Hero back, so the offense is going to look a little bit more, I think, efficient when all is said and done. Bottom line is, though, they brought in Norman Powell, and that dude is plug and play.
Yes,
I mean, he's going to
sure
score
is.
whatever uniform he's wearing. But, boy, they do have some depth that they can rely upon, don't they? You look at a guy like Fontecchio who came in. He played really well yesterday.
That's the best I've seen him.
That's the best I've seen him as well.
Yeah.
And then Khalil Ware was coming off the bench. He was dealing with an ankle injury, but we know he's a big part of their that is going to be a real player. They're doing a good job, I think, of kind of splitting the timelines. I don't know what it'll look like this season, but, boy, if you need to get the best out of a Davion Mitchell or if you need to develop a Jovic, no better than the Miami Heat and Eric Spoelstra. They've done a good job bringing those guys along.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. They'll get Tyler Hero back at some point, but looks pretty good right now. And I love these comments. And this guy, right, Prying, he knows how to get right to your heart, doesn't he? He wants to talk about Goga.
Oh. Now, come on now. I don't even see that comment. Where is that guy?
He knows right how to get to
my Goga radar is off right
He
now.
knows how to get right to the heart of Jake Chapman. We'll have all that for you when we return to Magic Insiders here in just a moment. So many unsung heroes in last night's basketball game. Magic fans, catch every moment of the Orlando Magic on FanDuel Sports Network for the 25-26 season. Get 2 Magic tickets when you sign up for FanDuel Sports Network Season Pass. Watch every game from the comfort of your couch, plus get the thrills of the in-arena action at a game this fall. Subscribe now at OrlandoMagic.com/FanDuel Sports Network and use the code MAGICFAN at checkout. I don't care if you listen to Jake Chapman. Put the game on when you get home. Listen to Jake's call. Sign up for FanDuel Sports Network.
All right, you good?
I'm good, yeah. And welcome, everyone, to Magic Insiders, presented by International Diamond Center. Dante Marcatelli and Jake Chapman back here with you. Our producer, Jason Dewberry. We have Chrissy Birdsall in here. We have Houston McCullough in here as well, and we're getting after. We're excited to be back with Magic Insiders, and we plan to do this. I think Dewberry told us 4 times a week, right? We're going to go live on Magic Insiders. So
another one today. We'll be back at 5 p.m.
We're going to do this 2 a day. Eventually, we're going to get to 2 a day, so we're excited. Depends on how much you watch and how much those comments come in. It determines how often we do this, but a great time to do it after a Magic victory last night. Let's get to our call of the game. It's brought to you by Glip from Ring Central. Rethink the way you work with secure meetings and messaging on any device with Glip by Ring Central. Visit glip.com to learn more. And, you talk about unsung heroes. I had a couple with Wendell Carter Jr., who got you big offensive rebounds and free throws late. He had 7 points and 5 rebounds in the fourth quarter alone.
Yep.
Did Wendell after a slow start. So we'll start that. We'll go to Da Silva. We'll go to Anthony Black was great. Goga Batadze was great. They all had their moments, no question about it. But I don't think after the slow start that Wendell Carter Jr. had last night, right? So going into the fourth quarter, Wendell just had 2 points. He had only scored 1 basket. I don't know that he would have come out of that last year.
Right.
That is huge that he stayed with it. He dug down. He's still confident, Wendell, from the preseason, and he dug himself out of it. And he won that basketball game with his offensive rebounds.
He had 3 personal fouls at halftime. He finished the game with 4. Right,
right there you go. Too.
Another piece that last year may have taken him kind of out of his game, and at the very least out of his comfort level, and sort of sapped his confidence. Wendell was the unsung hero. I thought he was actually the hero because of when he made his plays. But you're right.
Yeah.
He struggled for 3.5 quarters. Now look, I'm sitting there looking at his rebounding total in the third quarter, and I'm going, okay, well, but we're not getting out rebounded. And so for Wendell Carter Jr., you never quite know what's going on down below when the shot goes up, right? He's fighting off Bam Adebayo and Jovic and all that, and Bam.
You're talking about a guy that's going to be in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year.
Exactly.
So you understand that.
And so that's one of those examples we always talk about with Wendell, where the work that he does not necessarily show up on the box score, but when all was said and done, it was about a stalemate as far as rebounding goes. And against a team like Miami, that's not bad, especially when Bam Adebayo is on the floor. I thought Wendell was fantastic. You talked about Goga. He finishes with, 8 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal in 19 minutes on the floor. He was fantastic. 4 assists for Goga.
I mean, he just goes out there and does his job every single time. Big defensive plays as well from Goga.
Massive defensive plays as well. He had a block and a steal. And if you want to do unsung hero just as far as the box score goes, it was those free throws. We shot 35. We shot 8 more free throws than Miami did, and we made 8 more free throws than Miami did. And we won the game by 4 points. And that was something that, Paolo, for instance, he got to the free throw line 12 times last night. He made 9 of them. And that's what we're looking for. 75-80%. It's going to make a big difference because of how often Paolo gets to the stripe. A year ago, we don't get to the free throw line 35 times at all in a game against Miami. 35, and that's like an unheard of number. But I'm not sure you convert on 29 of them either. So that's the type of stuff. When we're talking about a game like that, it's all of those little things that add up. And I think you saw throughout training camp a much more kind of detail-oriented approach from Coach Mosley and the group. If you want to win games like that, you got to be buttoned up, and they were in the fourth quarter.
You got to be prepared. And Brian Hill said it on the telecast last night. We always felt that the more prepared team can steal wins at the beginning of the season.
Yes.
Right? That was the goal, is to go through everything. And we saw there were a lot of close practices. There was a lot of focus by this Magic team all throughout training camp in the preseason to make sure you were buttoned up for opening night. Now, way too many turnovers, 15 turnovers. You had 8 in the third quarter alone. This game almost got away from you in that third quarter. But fortunately, you were able to reel it back in. So you got new players. You're playing faster. You're going to have more turnovers.
Yep.
And everybody to a man said we can play so much better than we did last night. So you put up 125, and you can play so much better. So that's scary to me for the league when you look at it. But I love this comment here from Jay Curve, too. The roof would have blown off if Goga Bitadze hits that 3. Yes. I mean, he's not, and you're not kidding, right? That's coming. It's coming. Goga started, I think, he started 0 for 12 or 15 last year before he hit his first 3. That's something he's been working on, and if he can add that wrinkle, then you literally got everybody on the team making.
I might break equipment. if Goga,
first one, a punch or a throw?
Well, one of the first years I was doing play-by-play, I think it was when Paolo dunked. Actually, it might have been when Paolo dunked over Corey Joseph. Oof. I jumped up from the broadcast table, and my headset got yanked off.
Yes, of course it did.
You can't do that. I'm envisioning something like that if Goga knocks down a couple threes. Equipment will be damaged in some way. Maybe it's spilled coffee. Maybe I'm yanking cords out. But
whatever it is,
we're going to go off the air if Goga knocks down a couple triples.
And when Mo Wagner comes back, that first game that Mo Wagner comes back. Tristan da Silva. I know we only got a few minutes left, but Tristan da Silva. This game, to me, Jake, was teetering in the first half on getting away from you. You were down 11 at one point in that first half, and you go to Tristan da Silva. He comes in and replaces Paolo Banchero, who, to Paolo's credit, they were double-teaming him, triple-teaming him. Everywhere he looked, he had Miami Heat bodies, and he didn't force it. He finished the game with only 2 turnovers.
Yep.
And he let Franz do his thing when it was his time. He let Desmond do his thing, and then when it was time for Paolo to get going in the third and fourth, he did that. But I thought when this thing was dangerously teetering on getting away from you, Tristan da Silva comes in and hits a huge 3, has a couple of finishes in the paint, solid defense, great rebounder. Tristan was huge last night with 16.
He makes 3 of your 12 threes on 5 attempts, 16 points in 18 minutes. I mean, super efficient. He and Goga were a plus 11 off the bench, and Anthony Black was plus 13. That's the type of stuff that wins you games. When your bench bunch is able to deliver like that. And if you look down at Miami's second unit, it's a whole bunch of minuses. So we won those minutes. And, boy, Tristan could, we talk all training camp and preseason about who are the X factors. And I know we talked about Tristan a little bit, but, boy, he could be such a huge boost to this team. The perimeter shooting within that second unit, the perimeter shooting, they're going to rely upon him heavily. If you just think about, Anthony Black, Tyus Jones can shoot it, but if you think about AB, the guys he's going to be on the floor with, AB, J.I., Goga, right? Like, they're going to need him to space the floor. So just standing there in the corner and knocking down open threes is a huge part of what you're asking Tristan to do. You're comfortable with him defensively. He's got a nice frame. He didn't grab many rebounds last night, but he can hold his own on the glass as well. If Jamal Mosley doesn't need to worry about who's going to space the floor for a second unit, then the sky's the limit for this team, because the offense that you're going to get, or at least you have an idea of what it's going to look like for the starters. We still have some question marks with that second unit. Who's going to lead the charge? Is it going to be Anthony Black, the ball in Anthony Black's hands, Tyus Jones, et cetera, et cetera? Tristan doing what he did last night consistently throughout the year will be a huge, huge boost to that group.
Well, and he's confident. And at this time last year, he's a rookie. He's unsure of himself. He's trying to work his way into it. The confidence, he's brimming with confidence from having been one of the best players on a German team that won Eurobasket, right, this past summer. So he comes in. He was one of the best players in camp. We've said that all throughout Magic Insiders when we started, and I love the comments coming in.
I got one here. You want me to go?
Yes, I do.
This is from Roma Goodwood. Paolo casually walked into a double-double last night. LOL. That's scary for the rest of the league.
That's exactly right.
I mean, he was, because you're right. Like, the amount of attention that Miami said,
he walked into it.
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
You're right. You're right.
He was like, okay. And first off, didn't you notice Paolo was setting screens more? Everybody was involved in the offense more, setting screens and okay, it's a pick and roll with Paolo and Franz. Now a pick and roll with Paolo and Desmond. You just have so much more versatility, I think, with Des in that starting group. But, I mean, Paolo knew the amount of attention he was getting. He was getting a lot of those hockey assists. It was coming off it, but then it was an extra pass to get there. 7 of 17. He got his work done at the free throw line in the scoring department. But he said, "Okay, my buddies are going to score. I'm gonna get mine on the glass," and he did. 11 rebounds on a game where he wasn't that involved offensively. That's pretty special stuff.
Starts with the double-double. Franz Wagner, 19 points in the first half. And Franz, the beauty of playing with pace is if you can hit Franz Wagner in the open floor, he's unstoppable.
Yep.
He's unstoppable with the moves that he has and his ability to finish right-hand, left-handed. We saw all of that on display in the first half. He carried Orlando in that first half. Desmond Bane, great as well. And then that's the luxury of having that two-headed monster, is he can turn it over to Paolo to do his thing, get to the free throw line. I mean, he just put his head down and got to the free throw line on a night where they were determined not to let Paolo get going. But it was Franz who set the tone early.
Paolo and Franz in the open floor against a single defender, that's just unfair. If you're backpedaling, trying to stop the 6'10", Paolo and Franz, it's just you've already lost.
That's exactly right. And I see the comments. Listen, Kyle, I got you. Not a great, you're talking about Jonathan Isaac and Tyus Jones. With Jonathan Isaac, I think it was 7 minutes last night, 3 in the first half, 4 in the second half. I still think, I don't think you start the season opening night with Jonathan Isaac playing 20 minutes. I still think it's a bit of a ramp up, and it always might be for him at the start of a season. So he'll get those minutes up, and that'll be a different story, and he's going to get his footing under him. Tyus Jones, I think he'll be the first one to tell you, yeah, I could have played better in his Magic debut, but you see why he's here. He keeps the team organized.
He played a lot.
You give him the basketball, and the shot wasn't there, but how many times did he make the right pass, get it to the right guy? Defensively, he's going to have to get better on that end of the floor, no question about it, but these are things that you can improve on. You can improve on that, and you still won the basketball game.
And to be frank, you didn't bring Tyus Jones here for his defense.
No.
It's just it's not his calling.
No, but he did the things that you asked him to do. Shots are going to fall, and they'll look better as a team defensively.
Absolutely. And like you said, like when you look at his box score, okay, it doesn't jump off the page at you, but we scored 125 points last night, and he played 24 minutes. So you're right. He had the second unit organized, and he played a lot with the starters as well. I don't know what his minutes look like when Jalen is playing a full dosage, but he didn't last night, and so I think you'll probably see a little bit more balance there.
How about this from Kyle? The Suggs ovation gave me goosebumps. I have to admit, you do the introductions, and it's a lot. It is a lot, right? There's all the pomp and circumstance and all that, and I get it. It's awesome. We love that on opening night. But I kind of looked down at something, and I wasn't looking at the screen when Jalen came out. The place erupted. Yeah. I mean, it was an absolute eruption and an ovation for Jalen. And I look up and saw him dancing, and I said, okay, now we've arrived. Jalen's officially back. That was special. That was, to Kyle's point, that was one of the coolest parts of the night last
We
night.
had him on the walk-off last night, and shout out Chrissy Birdsall. She got that
away.
video up on social, so check it out if you want to.
We had him post game as well. He was pretty calm, wasn't he?
Well, he was. Yeah, I thought he was going to cry. I
It
mean,
was awesome.
Dude, the emotion was just pumping through him, and of course the walk-off. That's pretty special time to get him. He was still feeling the juice.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been through a lot, man. And Jalen is obviously always going to wear his emotions on his sleeve. Like, you're never going to wonder what's going on between his ears. He is very open about all of that, and he's talked very openly about the struggles that he had getting back from this injury. But for him to have that moment last night and for it to all come together, he deserved it, to be sure. But, man, there is, he is just sort of the heart and soul of this whole thing. And so it was only fitting, I think, to get that win last night with him in the middle of all of it.
14 points. He was 6 of 7. You forget that. Like, he came out and hit 2 threes, 2 big threes. He had that step-back jumper. Again, he was in the lane for 45 seconds and hit that step-back jumper, which was huge. Ended up being one of the deciding baskets of the game. He finishes with 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 tackles there in the first minute, which you loved that. You loved that. You knew this guy.
Are you redoing your halftime?
I'm redoing. You knew this guy was going to be amped up, didn't you? Coming into that basketball game last night.
Absolutely.
And as we close on this, our upcoming games look ahead, powered by Ticketmaster. Now it doesn't get any easier, Jake. You have the Atlanta Hawks coming into your building. Yeah, you put up 125 points last night. They scored 118. But Atlanta gets blown out at home by the Toronto Raptors. I don't know how many people had the Toronto Raptors winning opening night in Atlanta, putting up 138 points. So it was our first look at that trio in Atlanta of Trae Young, Porzingis, and Jalen Johnson. They each go for 20 in the debut, but they get blown out at home. I think we knew defense probably wasn't going to be the calling card of these Atlanta Hawks, but we know this team can put up points.
Yeah, you're right. 138. I'm not sure if Toronto will score 138 again this season.
They may not.
Insane. But Jalen Johnson back, and he looked really good last night. So it's probably going to look a little similar to what last night's game, our game, looked like. I would imagine getting up and down a whole bunch, and if you get to 130, then you'll be feeling good about yourself. But our defense tomorrow will have to be significantly better, or at the very least, you're going to have to mind your P's and Q's against that group because they can certainly score.
2 things as we close. A handle. How likely would you be to have a handle called Unlikely Jellyfish? Unlikely Jellyfish was something that was a choice that somebody actually
I kind of
made.
like that.
What do you like about that?
It's 2 words I never thought to put together. That's unique.
Okay. Well, then I challenge someone to blow Jake away next week with an even better one. Unlikely Jellyfish. That is amazing. There's a lot of potential there. I don't think you'll ever see something like that again. And Will Dawson must have had a dentist appointment or something. How have we not
He was
heard
there last night
from Will Dawson here this
Maybe he's
morning?
actually working.
Well, there's no chance of that. He's certainly and even if he is, he's available. He must have had a.
That's true.
He must have, whatever he does, he makes himself
He
available.
was working last year, probably.
Yeah. Probably landed something. I got to get the story on Unlikely Jellyfish. I got to get to. Maybe it's just like you, just 2 names that go together.
That's what I'm gonna get. Like in the '90s, that was like everybody's grunge band. It was just 2 random words put together. I think that's what he was going for.
That could be a band. You might be
Unlikely Jellyfish was out of Seattle.
You might be on. They're opening for Oasis here on their comeback tour. Kyle, we're so proud to be Magic fans too. This is awesome. It's going to be a great season. You can't win all 82 if you don't win game 1. So that is still a possibility for the Orlando Magic. Great win last night. We'll be back with another live show, hopefully one day next week from the road. Jake will be on the road traveling, and we'll see what that looks like. Might be impossible, but we'll give it our best. Probably unlikely, but
Dewberry will figure it out.
Yeah, he'll figure it out, no question. And then we'll go from there. But that'll do it for this edition of Magic Insiders. We'll see you soon.